Welcome to the Valve Studio for April 24th, 2016. Hey, I got inspired this afternoon to renovate that old RCA voltmeter. That's right, I watched Mr. Carlson's lab a couple weeks ago where he went and reworked one of his Knight vacuum tube voltmeters. Talked about why it's important for vacuum tube work to have one of these things. So I figured, well, what's involved in doing that for what I got here? I had a little incident with my soldering iron and this old Mectron phonograph tube amp where I unsoldered something and I got a pop out of the speakers. So I figured, well, I don't want to have some grounding issue in here. So these old vacuum tube voltmeters are pretty much indestructible once you get them fired up and running. That's what I worked on this afternoon. So let's go through and I'll show you what I ended up doing and show you how it works here at the end. Here's what I'm renovating this afternoon. It's an RCA vacuum tube voltmeter. I bought this about a year ago at the estate sale in Los Alamos. It's in fairly good condition except for the meter cover is actually cracked there in the top right. It does come with the volt probes and the ground lead. I downloaded the schematic off of Boat Anchor and somebody actually recaptured the schematic, so that's pretty nice. This uses two tubes, a 6AL5 for the rectifier for the AC and a 12AU7 for the meter movement. The back comes off pretty easily and I can see three suspect parts right away. There's a little battery right there in the bottom right and the bottom left. And in the center right above the transformer is a big old capacitor that kind of looks like it's leaking, and up on top is a paper cap. It's a 10 microfarad at 150 volts. So I'm going to have to pull that guy out. You can also see up here the plastic potentiometers for the calibration. Turns out I don't even have a pot tweaker in my bag of tricks, so I'll have to go find one of those. Here's my rework for the power supply capacitor. I found a 160 volt 22 microfarad electrolytic and I put it in right here. I didn't have a 1000 volt capacitor, so I used two 630 volt capacitors in series. These are 0.22 microfarads. So this is going to be about 0.11, which is fine. And I also replaced the battery. It's fairly easy to solder wires right onto the C battery. Here's what I replaced, these three parts in the meter, and that's about it. I then followed the calibration procedure out of the manual. I first applied a DC voltage of 50 volts to the meter, and I tweaked the Cal plus potentiometer. Then you flip to polarity and you tweak the Cal DC minus potentiometer. I used a Variac to generate a 50 volt AC signal and did the same thing for the AC Cal potentiometer. Well, I have my voltmeter here and it's been on for maybe about 15 minutes to warm up. And then I have my old Craftsman digital multimeter right here. And I have it connected up to the output of a Variac. And what I'll do is go ahead and turn the Variac on here. And you can see that we went up to 15 volts over there. So I'm on the 15 volt scale, which is, you might be able to see it. It is full scale, which is fine. So let's go up to 50 and we'll turn this up to maybe 40 volts or so. And our meter over there reads 38, and then up above we're right around 40. Then let's turn this up even more. Oh, over here on this scale, so this is almost at 4 right here. That looks good. Let's go ahead and turn it up a little bit more. We'll go up to 75 volts, which is about there. And we're fairly good on the meter up here. And the highest I can go on this thing, I'll just sit around 100. That's easy to get at. So here's about 100. And on the scale up above, it looks pretty good. So we'll click this up to the 500 scale, and it's going to run back down to 100. And click at the 1500 volt scale, and it's going to eventually get back down to 100 again. It looks pretty good. It's probably off by maybe 2%, something like that, which is perfectly acceptable for what I'm working on here in the lab. Well, now I have a piece of vintage testing gear right on my bench, and I'm not too worried about blowing it up. That's a great thing. It's going to be pretty valuable here at the Valve Studio. That's about it for today. I'm working on the AC analysis for this Mectron phonograph amplifier. We'll go over that next time. So thanks for watching. This is the Valve Studio for April 24th, 2016.